Have you ever laid in bed at night staring at the ceiling, wondering why your mind just won't stop running? Maybe you're replaying conversations from the day, worrying about bills, or even thinking about things you've held on to for years, old furniture, clothes, or boxes stacked in the corner of the room. And somehow, the more things you have around you, the heavier your thoughts feel. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. So many of us, especially as we get older, find that our homes are full of stuff and our minds are just as cluttered. But here's something powerful to think about. The two are connected. The more clutter you carry in your physical space, the more clutter tends to fill your mind. And that directly affects how well you sleep, how much you worry, and how peaceful you feel. That's what today's conversation is all about: minimalism and mental health. Not the kind of minimalism you see in fancy magazines with empty white walls and just one chair in the living room. No, I'm talking about a kind of practical minimalism that works for you at this stage of your life. The kind that helps you sleep better, worry less, and truly feel lighter inside and out. Now, why does this matter so much as we age? Well, life has a way of piling up. Over the decades, we gather not just things, but memories, habits, and responsibilities. We hold on to furniture because it belonged to our parents. We keep clothes because they remind us of our younger years. We say yes to commitments, even when we'd rather say no, because we don't want to let people down. And all of this adds up. Eventually, you start to feel like you're carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. Your body may slow down, but your mind doesn't get the chance to rest either. And rest, as you know, becomes even more precious after 60. Here's the good news: you don't have to overhaul your entire life to feel the benefits of minimalism. Small, simple changes can lead to huge improvements in your peace of mind. Think of it like opening a window in a stuffy room. Suddenly, you can breathe again. That's what minimalism can do for your sleep and your mental health. So where do we start? One of the first things I want to talk about is the bedroom. Because if there's one place where clutter and mental rest are directly connected, it's where you sleep. Picture your bedroom right now. Is it a peaceful place, or is it crowded with clothes you don't wear, old books, or maybe even exercise equipment that's been sitting in the corner for years? Every item in that space speaks to your brain, even when you're not paying attention. It might whisper, "You should have cleaned this up," or "Remember when you used to use me?" That background noise keeps your mind active, when what you really need is quiet. Try this. Take a good look around your bedroom and choose just one area to simplify. It could be your nightstand, stuffed with old magazines and half-used bottles of lotion. Or maybe it's the chair in the corner that's become the unofficial laundry basket. Clearing just that one spot can give you a surprising sense of relief. You'll notice the difference the very next time you go to bed. Your eyes will have less to scan. Your brain will have fewer reminders, and your body will take the signal that it's time to rest. Now, the second thing to think about is your daily routine and the choices you make. Minimalism isn't only about the things you own. It's about how you use your time and energy. After 60, you probably know better than anyone that your energy is precious. You don't want to waste it on things that don't matter, but many of us still hold on to habits that drain us. Maybe you've said yes to helping out with too many things, or you watch the evening news until your heart races with worry. All of that weighs on your mind and, in turn, keeps you awake at night. Here's a simple adjustment. Try practicing what I like to call mental decluttering. Before bed, instead of filling your mind with worries or lists of things to do tomorrow, give yourself a pause. You might write down your thoughts in a notebook so you're not carrying them into your sleep. Or you could take 5 minutes just to breathe deeply and remind yourself, "Tonight, my only job is to rest." By letting go of mental clutter, even temporarily, you'll notice your sleep becoming deeper and more restorative. The third point I want to share is about letting go of possessions that carry more weight than joy. This doesn't mean throwing away everything you own, but think about how certain objects affect you emotionally. Maybe you've kept a piece of furniture that doesn't fit your space, simply because it's been in the family for decades. Or maybe your closet is filled with clothes that don't make you feel good anymore. Every time you look at those things, they send a message. Sometimes it's guilt, sometimes it's regret, and sometimes it's just the weight of "I should do something about that." Those feelings, even when quiet, take a toll. You don't have to do it all at once. But ask yourself this: does this item bring me comfort, or does it cause me stress? If it's stress, it may be time to pass it along. Donate it, give it to someone who will use it, or simply let it go. You'll be amazed at how freeing it feels. And that freedom follows you into bed at night. Your mind isn't as busy holding on to the past, so you can rest more peacefully in the present. These first steps, simplifying your bedroom, decluttering your daily routine, and releasing possessions that no longer serve you, are not about living with nothing. They're about creating space for what really matters: peace of mind, better sleep, and fewer worries. Once you begin to notice how much lighter you feel by clearing even a small corner of your home or simplifying your evening routine, it becomes easier to see how minimalism isn't just about what's in front of you. It's about how you carry yourself through life. And one of the most overlooked areas where clutter builds up is in the mind itself. We often think clutter means piles of magazines or boxes in the garage, but just as often it shows up as unfinished thoughts, old worries, or regrets that never seem to leave us. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you laid in bed, replaying something you said years ago, or worrying about a decision you can't change? That's mental clutter. It doesn't take up space on your shelves, but it takes up space in your head. And the more crowded your head feels, the harder it is to relax, let go, and drift into sleep. This is why practicing a kind of mental minimalism is just as important as tidying up the bedroom. One way to do this is through the practice of intentional focus. Instead of letting your mind wander through 1,000 what-ifs, bring it back to something simple, steady, and present. It could be focusing on your breathing. It could be repeating a calming phrase like, "I am safe, I am at peace." Or it could even be visualizing a simple, quiet place you love, like sitting by the ocean or resting under a tree. When you give your mind one clear path to follow, it doesn't get tangled up in 100 little worries. And over time, this becomes a habit, a kind of muscle memory for your brain, teaching it to rest more easily. Another important piece of minimalism that directly affects mental health is our relationship with technology. Now, I know that phones, tablets, and televisions can be a wonderful source of connection and entertainment, especially when you live alone or can't get out as much as you used to. But they can also be sneaky sources of clutter. Every alert, every headline, every email or message adds another layer to your mental load. Have you ever tried to fall asleep after scrolling through the news or social media, only to find that your brain is buzzing with thoughts? That's no accident. Studies show that constant exposure to bright screens and constant information overload makes it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep. Here's where minimalism offers a gentle solution. Set some boundaries with your devices. You don't have to give them up completely. Instead, try creating what I call a digital bedtime. Choose a time in the evening, maybe an hour before bed, to turn off the screens. Let your mind transition from all that stimulation to something softer. You might choose to read a physical book, listen to calming music, or even just sit quietly with a cup of tea. By giving yourself this tech-free space, you're not just decluttering your time, you're decluttering your thoughts, making room for rest. Now let's talk about another kind of clutter that often goes unnoticed: commitments. Over the years, many of us learn to say yes far too often. Yes to helping a neighbor, yes to joining another group, yes to attending events even when we'd rather stay home. And while helping and staying active are wonderful, there's a fine line between being engaged and being overwhelmed. When your calendar is crammed with things you don't really want to do, it creates stress. And stress, as you know, is one of the biggest enemies of peaceful sleep. Minimalism in this area is about learning to say no with kindness. Think of it not as turning someone down, but as turning toward your own well-being. You've earned the right to choose how you spend your time. When you free yourself from unnecessary commitments, you gain more energy for the things that truly bring you joy. Maybe it's spending quiet mornings in the garden or having an unhurried phone call with a grandchild. These are the moments that fill you up, not drain you. And when your days feel lighter, your nights naturally follow. Another place where minimalism can change everything is in daily routines. As we age, routines become both a comfort and a necessity. But sometimes we let our days get filled with tasks that no longer serve us, simply out of habit. Maybe you've been holding on to a complicated cleaning schedule, or you still cook large meals even though there are fewer people at the table now. These habits can leave you feeling stretched thin, even when there's no need to be. Simplifying routines doesn't mean neglecting what matters. It means adjusting to this stage of life, letting go of what's no longer useful. For example, instead of deep cleaning every corner of the house every week, you might focus on the rooms you actually use most. Instead of cooking a big dinner every night, you might prepare a few simple meals that can be enjoyed over several days. By lightening your daily load, you conserve energy and give yourself more time for rest, creativity, and enjoyment. And when you go to bed at night, You won't be lying there worrying about all the things left undone. You'll know you've done what truly matters. And that's enough. Finally, let's touch on one more point that often surprises people. Minimalism and gratitude go hand in hand. When you pare down your possessions, your commitments, and even your thoughts, you start to see more clearly what you already have. That favorite chair by the window becomes more enjoyable because it isn't surrounded by clutter. A simple meal tastes better when you're not overwhelmed by choices. Even your relationships feel deeper when you're not stretched too thin. Gratitude has this incredible way of calming the mind and easing the heart. And when your heart is light, sleep comes more naturally. By now, you can see that minimalism isn't just about throwing things out. It's about choosing wisely what you keep in your home, in your schedule, and in your mind. And every small choice you make toward simplicity brings you closer to sleeping better and worrying less. When you start simplifying different parts of your life, something remarkable happens. It's not just that your bedroom feels calmer or that your daily routine feels easier. It's that your entire perspective begins to shift. You begin to realize that you don't need to carry so much to feel secure or happy. In fact, it's often the opposite. The less weight you carry, the more joy you feel. One of the most powerful ways minimalism affects mental health is by helping us let go of the past. For many of us, clutter isn't just stuff, it's memories. It's moments in time, a stack of letters from decades ago, a closet full of clothes from when the kids were still young, or a drawer filled with tools from projects you'll never finish. And while these things can hold sentimental value, they can also become a heavy reminder of what once was, but is no longer. Holding on to too much of the past can keep us from fully enjoying the present. Think of it this way. When you hold on to everything, you don't give yourself space to breathe in today. By gently letting go of what you no longer need, you make room for the moments that are happening now. That doesn't mean forgetting the past, it means honoring it, while choosing peace for yourself today. And with that peace comes a calmer mind, and with a calmer mind comes better rest. Another way minimalism brings relief is by easing the constant decision-making we all face. You might not think about it much, but every drawer packed with clothes you don't wear, every pantry shelf crammed with items you don't use, creates small daily decisions. Should I wear this or that? Do I cook this or that? Over time, all those little decisions pile up, draining your mental energy. This is sometimes called decision fatigue, and it's one of the hidden ways clutter wears you down. Minimalism helps by reducing those choices. Imagine opening your closet and seeing only the clothes you actually enjoy, wearing the ones that fit well and make you feel good. Suddenly, getting dressed feels effortless. Or picture your pantry holding just the foods you like and use, instead of 20 different half-empty containers. That simplicity gives your brain a rest. You're not wasting energy on trivial choices, so you have more space for what really matters. Meaningful conversations, enjoyable activities, and, of course, restful sleep. And let's not forget the connection between our physical health and the spaces we live in. A cluttered home can actually create stress in the body. Studies have shown that being surrounded by too much can raise cortisol, the stress hormone. High cortisol not only makes it harder to fall asleep, but over time it affects your heart, your memory, even your immune system. On the other hand, a calmer space signals safety to your brain and body. When your surroundings are peaceful, your nervous system relaxes. Your breathing slows, your muscles unclench, and sleep becomes easier to welcome. There's also something deeply healing about reclaiming control over your space and your choices. As we get older, it's common to feel like so much is out of our control: our health, the world around us, even how others act. But minimalism offers a gentle reminder. You do have power over your immediate environment, over what you choose to keep and what you choose to release. Every drawer you clear, every unnecessary commitment you let go of, is like planting a little flag that says, "I am creating peace in my life." That sense of control can ease anxiety and bring a feeling of dignity and strength that stays with you day and night. At its heart, minimalism isn't about deprivation. It's about clarity. It's about focusing on the things that add value to your life, whether that's the comfort of your favorite chair, the joy of a phone call with an old friend, or the relief of a quiet night's sleep without endless worries. When you strip away the noise, you can finally hear what your heart has been asking for all along: peace, simplicity, and rest. So tonight, as you prepare for bed, take a moment to look around your space. Ask yourself, is this environment helping me rest, or is it keeping me restless? Tomorrow, think about your schedule and ask, Am I doing things that lift me up or things that wear me down? These small questions are the start of a lighter, calmer way of living. And remember, you don't have to do everything at once. Minimalism isn't a race, it's a journey, and every step you take toward simplicity brings more ease, more freedom, and more rest into your life. Even the smallest changes, a cleared nightstand, a tech-free hour before bed, a single drawer reorganized, can ripple out and bring big benefits for your sleep and your peace of mind. You deserve nights of deep, refreshing sleep. You deserve days free from unnecessary worry. And you absolutely deserve a home and a life that feels like a soft, welcoming exhale instead of a constant weight on your shoulders. If you found encouragement here today, I'd love for you to share your own experiences in the comments below. Tell me what you've let go of, or what part of your life you'd like to simplify. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if this conversation has been helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more practical, uplifting ideas for living well at any age. Here's to lighter days, calmer nights, and a life that feels easier, simpler, and more joyful. After all, sleep better and worry less isn't just a dream, it's a gift you can give yourself. Starting today. By now, you've probably started to picture what your life could feel like with a little more space, a little more calm, and a lot less weight pressing on your mind. But let me share something that often surprises people. Minimalism, especially at this stage of life, isn't really about taking things away. It's about creating room to add in more of what matters most. It's not about having fewer possessions. It's about having more peace. It's not about doing less. It's about living more intentionally. Think about sleep for a moment. When we were young, sleep often came easily. We'd lie down, close our eyes, and drift off without much thought. But as the years pass, sleep can become elusive. Worries creep in, aches and pains distract us, and our minds stay busy long after the lights go out. What minimalism does is help clear away those unnecessary distractions, whether it's physical clutter in the room, emotional clutter in the heart, or mental clutter in the mind. And when those are lifted, sleep returns to feeling like a natural part of life again, rather than a nightly battle. And here's something even more powerful. The less you worry, the more you actually enjoy your waking hours too. When you let go of the things weighing you down, you're not just making room for better sleep. You're making room for more joy in your days. Imagine waking up and moving through your morning without tripping over piles of stuff, without a calendar full of things you don't want to do, and without that sense of heaviness in your chest. Instead, your mornings could feel like an open invitation, a walk in the garden, a cup of coffee while watching the sunrise, a slow and peaceful breakfast. These are the moments minimalism gives back to you. Sometimes, though, people hear the word minimalism and think it means living in an empty house with bare walls, like a monk or a hermit. But that's not what we're talking about at all. Your home should feel warm, comforting, and alive with your personality. The goal isn't to strip it of meaning, but to strip it of stress. Keep the things that make you smile, the things that bring you peace, the things that are truly useful in your everyday life. Let go of the rest. By doing that, you're not erasing your story, you're clarifying it. You're highlighting what's most important. It also helps to remember that minimalism is deeply personal. What feels like too much for one person might feel just enough for someone else. This isn't about comparing yourself to anyone. It's about asking yourself, what makes me feel lighter, calmer, and happier? That answer will be unique to you. For some, it might mean donating boxes of old belongings. For others, it might mean saying no to obligations that no longer serve them. For still others, it could mean setting aside a few minutes each day to quiet the mind and breathe. Whatever form it takes, it's valid if it brings you peace. One thing I encourage you to try, if you haven't already, is the practice of ending your day with gratitude. It might sound simple, but it ties directly into minimalism. When you simplify your life, you naturally notice what's left. And what's left is often the most beautiful, most meaningful parts. Each night before bed, take just a moment to name 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be big things. It could be the comfort of your pillow, a kind word from a neighbor, or the taste of a good meal. This habit shifts your focus away from what's missing, away from what's worrying you, and toward what's abundant in your life. Gratitude declutters the heart, and a decluttered heart rests more easily. As you continue on this path, you may also notice that minimalism gives you a sense of freedom you hadn't felt in years. Freedom from constantly tidying and organizing. Freedom from worrying about things that don't matter. Freedom from feeling like your home is running you instead of the other way around. That freedom is priceless, and it doesn't require you to give up the things you love. It only asks you to release the things you don't. And I want you to know something. It's never too late to make these changes. Whether you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond, you can choose to create more peace in your life. You can choose to rest more deeply and worry less. You can choose simplicity. And in choosing it, you're also choosing health, happiness, and more meaningful moments. So if tonight you look around your space and feel overwhelmed, don't think, "I'll never get there." Just think, what's one small step I can take? Maybe it's clearing a drawer. Maybe it's turning off the television an hour earlier. Maybe it's saying no to something you don't really want to do. Each small step is a victory. Each one brings you closer to the life you deserve. And I'll say this again, because it matters. You deserve it. You've spent decades working, raising families, building lives, carrying responsibilities. This is your time to rest easier, to live lighter, to enjoy more fully. Minimalism isn't about taking anything away from you. It's about giving you back the peace that's been waiting underneath it all. So, here's to fewer worries, calmer nights, and mornings filled with gratitude and joy. Here's to the beauty of simplicity. And here's to you choosing to sleep better, worry less, and embrace a life that feels lighter and brighter than ever before. And if this message has touched you, I'd love to hear from you. Share in the comments how minimalism has helped you, or what part of your life you'd like to simplify next. And if you'd like more encouragement, don't forget to subscribe and join this community of people who believe that no matter your age, you can live with peace, purpose, and joy. Because in the end, minimalism isn't about less, it's about more. More rest, more clarity, more life. And that's a gift worth giving yourself every single day.